Your wife or your husband will either make you or break you financially, physically, emotionally. My name is Brian Trent. I've been happily married for God knows how many years. I got 2 beautiful children, and I'm very successful because my wife is the cornerstone, the foundation of everything that I do. And I want to share with you a little bit about what I look for and what you should look for, okay? This isn't marriage advice. And if you're married, don't go leaving your spouse. Think about it. Go get some real counseling. This is for the single people. Just some things to think about when you're out there looking for the one, okay? And ultimately, when you're building, it's better to sometimes be by yourself because, look, it's going to take long hours. It's going to require you to grind it out. It's going to require you to make a lot of sacrifices that sometimes a partner isn't willing to deal with, okay? Fortunately for me, my wife's been there since the beginning when I was broke, and she grinded it out with me. She stuck by my side. When I had no money, she took care of it, right? When I had zero to my name, she made sure she stood up and said, hey, honey, your time's coming. So let's go into it, all right? First thing I want to say this. You want to find a spouse that is going to be understanding, supportive, but also have a voice, right? You don't want somebody to just be like, oh, yeah, you're so great, honey. You know, you can do anything you want. And then every decision that you have to make, she comes back and she goes, oh, you're great, honey. You can do it. No. You want a spouse that can actually challenge you, okay? And be like, look, have you thought about X, Y, and Z? Have you actually, you want to start this business, but here are some of the complications that could come about. Have you thought about that? And you can talk about it. Look, entrepreneurship is super lonely, but if you have a good spouse, you guys can bounce ideas together and be like, okay, we're going to run through all the scenarios so that when you ready to take that action, you've already thought all about it. And you actually had somebody to, talk about it and really get that perspective, okay? But the opposite can be true. You don't want a negative spouse where everything that you bring up is literally like, no, honey, you can't do it. No, honey, you're not smart enough. No, honey, you can't compete against the big dogs because they got way more money than you, right? Like there's a fine line about support, challenging, and also just damn right being like super negative, okay? You ever been around people that are just, everything they talk about is just everything's hard, everything sucks, nothing's impossible, we're always gonna be broke? Yeah, you don't want that person. I avoid those people like the plague, and that's not even with a spouse. I don't allow those people in my freaking circle, okay? You need positive energy, but you need people who tell you the truth, and people that actually are willing to research with you and really just challenge the ideas, but still, okay, challenge it in a way where it makes you think and not just challenge you in a way where it's like, hey, don't do something, right? I got people, no names, but literally I'm looking at their girlfriend and their boyfriend. I'm like, yo, that person is gonna freaking keep you broke because her energy sucks. Which leads me to my next thing. You want a spouse with good energy. I'm not saying they gotta be loud like me. They ain't gotta be loud. They ain't gotta be like super outgoing, okay? But you need somebody who's just like when you're around them, you feel good, okay? And they don't bring up, they don't cause drama. That's something major, okay? So the reason why is that because on this road to entrepreneurship, man, you're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have days when you don't wanna continue. You don't wanna have bad days when you wanna just quit. When life beats you down to your freaking knees, you don't wanna get back up. And you come home to that spouse and she's like, look, baby, it's gonna be okay. Let me tell you why it's gonna be okay. And she can brighten your day. She can lift you up. She can make you forget about the bad day that you just had so that you can hit the reset button and tomorrow get up and do it all over again. That's the kind of spouse you want. Second thing I would say, and this is more for the early entrepreneurs when you're looking for a spouse. You don't want a gold digger. You want somebody who can buy her own purse, her own watch, her own car. But when you make it, you spoil them because you love them. That's different, okay? But if all they talk about is trying to keep up with the Joneses by going on the best vacation, driving the nicest car when you ain't got it like that, that's all bad. They're gonna keep you broke. They're gonna keep you poor because what do you think this is? You gotta get money somewhere in this entrepreneurship journey. And if you're stupid and you spend everything that you make in the beginning on flashy shit, then you're never gonna be able to reinvest it back into the business to take it off to the next level, right? So you gotta be careful when you're looking for a spouse that just spends. That's something very crucial. The next thing that I want to talk about when you're looking for a spouse, guys, okay? Super controversial. I don't even know if I want to say it. But if she's showing too much on the gram, too much on TikTok, that's not your girl. She belongs to the world, all right? Because the chances are, if she's posting all that, all right, she's just gonna jump to the next guy who got more money than you. Always exceptions, but I'm saying generally speaking, she could be bad, all right? She could be a baddie. She could be a freak in the sheets, but nobody knows. That's okay. Maybe. Actually, she could do bad things too. That's up to your discretion. But the likelihood of her doing dumb stuff or that dude doing dumb stuff goes up significantly higher if they're showing it to the world. The next thing you want to look for in a spouse is somebody who is constantly chasing growth, constantly trying to learn. Look, I'm from Oakland. I used to say the dumbest stuff. I'm not very well educated. I'm a little hood, okay? Got a little bit of ebonics, but eventually I worked my way out of that kind of lingo because I wanted to do better. I wanted to be better. I wanted to continue to chase that growth and be with the ultra wealthy, okay? And they don't talk that way. And so what I do, I constantly try to do a little better, learn a little bit, learn their better vocabularies. That's growth. My wife, same thing. Like she's not from the riches. We had to eventually change our ways, grow into the person that we wanted to become. But how many people do you know? They just want to stick to what they know. They grew up in Oakland. They stay in Oakland. They hang out in Oakland. Nothing wrong with Oakland, but they keep doing the same hood stuff. Like the hood stuff is cool, but let's face it here. Like we gotta level up. We want to go to some galas. We want to be doing some charity work. We want to do all this other stuff that, at one point you never thought of. So find a spouse that is just not trying to just cruise through life and being the same person, but, elevate and grow. All right? That's a big one. Because the last thing you want is to be known as the same person you were 10 years from now. That's my biggest fear. The person that I want to become 10 years from now is going to be completely different. Because I got big goals and I got big dreams. And to be honest with you, who I am today will not get me there. I have to grow. I have to change. My wife has to support that. She has to also grow. As we go to these events together, she has to be able to keep her own, right? And people always, some people are going to listen to this and hate me and be like, oh, that's like, you change. You change. Of course I changed. You think I want to be the person I was 10 years ago? 10 years ago, I was driving a Honda Accord. 10 years ago, I was living in a little in-law. 10 years ago, I barely had enough money in my bank account to feed my freaking self, let alone my family. It's okay to change. So your spouse should be able to change too. Now, what you don't want is changing to the wrong direction with like doing drugs and doing dumb stuff, okay? I'm not talking about that. We're talking about good change, big change, generational changes, the change that will make your name a lasting legacy. I hope this helps when you're looking for a spouse. Again, if you're married, I'm not telling you to go and just leave your husband, leave your wife. Think about it, talk about it, right? But this is more for the single entrepreneur looking. Keep this stuff in mind, guys, because trust me, you get the wrong one, it's going to make your life difficult. Last thing you want is to have a kid with the person, get a divorce, lose half your shit, and pay child support. That's going to put a real ding in your success track. I hope this was helpful. I just want to come out with more raw stuff, a little bit more what's in my mind, what's grinding my gears. And if you like what you see, give me a sub, a like, and check out my other page, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I got boba shops, VA Hub, I got flipping, I got rentals. We're buying a lot of stuff out of state. So bear with me, guys. The page is going to be a little crazy, but this is my life. Let's go. Peace.